Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Skull Session Recruiting Podcast. I'm Marc Givler. Got Kevin Noon here. The recruiting capsules continue. Class of 2023. Signing day is here. We've got another great recruiting class for the Buckeyes. The letters of intent are coming in. We're churning these out fast and furious, talking about each guy individually, one at a time here. Jermaine Mathews is the topic of this one. 4-star corner, Winton Woods High School powerhouse in the Cincinnati area. First of all, Kevin, there's something about this guy you seem to like. What is it about Jermaine Mathews that you like?
He does not lack confidence. I mean, he's flashy. He can be a little brash, but he can back it up. I was at his commitment ceremony. I mean, the picture that we had there from the graphic, let me pull it up again. That was from moments before when he was sitting there. He has a style about him. I really like players that are boisterous but can back it up. Don't be that guy that is like 6 yards behind a play and waving incomplete like you broke up the play and you had nothing to do with it. Jermaine Matthews camped at Ohio State, wanted that offer, demanded that offer, earned that offer. I think all of that is very impressive. That always is just really, a real big entry in my book. So, I mean, he's somebody that, we're not supposed to kind of cheerlead for anybody, but I was really excited when he got his offer because I knew he wanted it. And now I'll be looking forward to cover him for the next several years.
There was no doubt he was getting offered maybe 2 or 3 reps into one-on-ones at that camp. There was zero doubt. It was one of the greatest cornerback camp performances at Ohio State I've seen over the years. I'm going to Ohio State's one-day camps for more than a decade now, and this was on the very short list of best one-day camp performances I've seen by a corner. Totally dominant, let everyone know it, and everyone just knew he was getting the offer. He was only a 3-star at the time. It didn't matter. Everyone knew he was getting that offer. He was that dominant that day. Carried that over, had an unbelievable senior season. Winton Woods actually got upset a little bit earlier than usual in the playoffs, but Jermaine just unbelievable. See, look at the break on that ball. That's just unbelievable instincts there. He is, I think people are catching up on him. I think that, the ranking, God, I don't know if it was on 3. Someone put him right in the top 50, I think, in their last update, right in the 50 somewhere. So he is starting to garner that type of notoriety, I guess. But it took a little while, I guess, for people to kind of see it here. But once you watch him in person, it's so obvious. Just a tremendous talent. Really good size, physical, can really run. But you nailed it. He's so competitive. He's just got this extra level of compete in him that you really like to see in corners, especially because it's just about the toughest position to play on the field these days with the rules what they are and what you can and can't do at this point on defense. So the way he's a dynamic weapon. And then here he's kick returner, maybe at Ohio State. I mean, they've typically gone with the best, the most sure-handed wide receiver and kind of put him back there in recent years. But he's a dynamic kick returner as well, and maybe able to make an impact there at Ohio State as well if they'll let him. But I love his energy. And we talk about this, the old, the fan saying we want kids who want to be Buckeyes. This kid really wanted to be a Buckeye and worked really, really hard to be a Buckeye, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there were a lot of programs that were very disappointed when Ohio State finally came to the table. I mean, this is one of those types of situations. One of these kids at Kentucky's like, oh, please don't let anybody notice him. Please don't let anybody notice him. And he was not going to allow himself not to be noticed. And it was funny because even Alabama got involved. And, I don't know if it was necessarily a case of Alabama getting involved 100% because they thought that they had a chance to flip him, but maybe just to squeeze Ryan Day's head a little bit and be like, well, now you're going to have to go play defense on him a little bit, just as we're recruiting the same kids nationally. But he just, I mean, he's going to bring some swagger into that room because we've talked about how the Ohio State corner room used to be BIA, best in America, and whether or not they can tote those three letters. That's a debate for everybody to have there. But there was a certain amount of swag there. I think that Jermaine Matthews is going to be somebody who's going to be able to at least talk the talk. Now let's see if he's going to be able to walk the walk, based on what I've seen in high school, which again is high school. I like what I've seen so far. Things are going to trend positively there, and we'll see how he looks under the defensive back coaches of Perry Aliano and Tim Walton.
He's just one of those guys who makes so many impact plays. Like there are like highly rated high school corners who are really good. I'm not even saying they're not kind of what their ranking is, but they just kind of like lock down their half of the field, and maybe teams don't throw at them as much or whatever it might be. But it's almost kind of boring when you go watch them because there's not much going on. They cover their guy, and that's they break up a pass or two here and there, and that's kind of the extent of it. This guy just special teams or chasing that kid down from behind like he did on one of those plays a couple seconds ago, and stripping him of the football or breaking on a pat. Like he always makes an impact play. It's uncanny, and it's unique. It's not common. But I loved how he earned this offer. You mentioned, coaches not wanting Ohio State to offer. It's actually really funny. That day at camp, I got texts from a couple different college coaching staffs. I will not name them. I won't throw them under the bus here, but I had multiple coaching staffs contact me that day. You think they're going to offer Jermaine? I think Ohio State's going to offer Jermaine today. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, coach. They're going to offer Jermaine unless they're crazy. I said, if I had any say, I mean, he should have had an offer mid camp. He's one of those, you don't even wait to tell him after camp. Just tell him in the middle of camp he's got the offer. I said, said he was unbelievable
on the PA system. Yeah. Jermaine Matthews, you're offered.
Yeah, I was like confident in telling you before he had been offered. I said, you can bet on it. They're going to offer. He's been unbelievable today, and they did obviously offer him, and it was a tremendous camp performance, and you love to see those guys do that. It was a we've seen some great camp performances over the years. I always think about Darren Lee, kind of lining up next to Von Bell in every drill and going stride for stride with Von Bell, even though Darren's going to be a linebacker and still running with Von Bell. And there's guys I'm sure you've got
Terry McLaurin camp stories.
Yes,
and yeah,
yes. But so this is kind of that type of camp performance. It's like, man, and then he puts the senior season together that he just put together. It's just really hard to see this not pan out. He seems to want it so bad. We the drama meter, no drama for a really long time. And then just a little bit, teensy bit of drama there at the end. Miami, sneaking around the chicken coop. There was talk he might visit the last weekend of the process. He did come out ahead of that and say, I'm not visiting anywhere. I'm sticking with the Buckeyes. So he reaffirmed before signing. There wasn't, there wasn't a kindly situation where you're going into signing day. You have no idea what's going to happen. So, he did reaffirm and everything, but just a little bit, but they got it done.
Keep us on our toes.
Were you ever nervous? I never had it as a very high alert, but I don't know.
Well, you have to remember, I wasn't nervous, but Ohio State fans were nervous. I mean, it's just been, for a team that's going to the college football playoff, to the national semifinals, there's just a lot of people are a little gun shy right now after how, that game against the rival ended and everything else, and another major decommitment in terms of 2024. And while that happened after Jermaine had reaffirmed, I think there are a lot of people that we need the kid glove treatment with him a little bit. So no, I didn't really think that was the case, but you never know when, in this day and age of NIL and how Miami's been splashing money. But hey, Miami, do you know where your quarterback commitment is? Oh, wait, he is signing with Florida. despite all of that. So it's truly the wild wild west. So for every time that the state of Ohio produces a great high school player like Jermaine Matthews, thank your lucky stars as an Ohio State fan that he's in state, and you probably are running less of a risk of losing him than maybe somebody who's a little further away.
Yeah, and once again, kudos to him for camping and just coming into Ohio State and saying, "I'm going to show you," because a lot of kids these days don't. They don't have the offer going into their senior year, and they they don't camp. They just said, "No, I'm going to go somewhere else," or screw you guys, you didn't offer me. I'm not going to camp my senior year. And Jermaine took the opposite approach and said, I'm going to show you, basically, I'm going to come and show you how dumb you've been the last, year for not offering me. And he certainly did that with all of us, with how we've ranked him and everything else at the time. And so, a great chip on, just one of those kids, like a Darren Lee chip on the shoulder, I think, type of kid who I think is going to do really well at Ohio State. We're going to wrap this one up. Appreciate everyone watching and listening. BuckeyeHuddle.com for all your signing day analysis. For all these capsules, they'll be on written format on this website as well. You can catch them here on YouTube, youtube.com/BuckeyeHuddle, or on your, you can download the audio version on your podcast platform of choice. But again, thank you everyone for watching and listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.